You ready?
Yeah.
Everybody dance now?
Yes.
5, 6, 7, 8.
Well, hi there. Oh, what a pleasure. I'm Nathan Lane.
I'm Nathan Lee Graham.
And I'm Matt Bomer.
And welcome to our beautiful home in Palm Springs. We're the cast of
Mid-Century Modern. Come on in. This is where we kibitz, this is where we hang out, this is where a lot of the situation of whatever the episode is going to be usually gets established.
Situation of the comedy?
In this room right
Yes.
here.
Lots of drama in this room.
Lots of exposition. I play a character named Bunny Schneiderman, who is a very wealthy and successful manufacturer of women's bras. This is the palatial home he has built and where he's been living with his mother and invites his two closest friends, Jerry and Arthur, to live with him.
We never see each other.
We FaceTime every night.
I use a filter. It's barely even me.
You love a classic sunken living room in Palm Springs.
Wow, you really like the
I
sunken
do.
Love the
It's
sunken living room.
Now that
idea.
is truly classic.
The mid-century movement architecture in Palm Springs was big with a lot of architects. The house we copied was a Wexler house. Happened to be the Dinah Shore estate back in the late 50s, early 60s. It's a sunken living room. It resembles the character and a place where they can gather and hang out and enjoy their happy hour drinks.
One of the things I notice when I go to Palm Springs, there's a little bit of quirkiness to the decor in a lot of ways, and I feel like they picked up on that in a very classy way. Peter Gurski, our set decorator, does a phenomenal job of just mixing up, like, these look like little Kenzo style
Yeah, they're lovely.
serving napkins.
And a horse full of bourbon
Yes.
that you could drink right out of its ass.
Classic.
And the flowers on the set are always real and practical.
Unlike us.
I hope you all took your Allegra.
He's looking for love, and I think these two friends of his bring that as he's inviting them into their home. And so we need a gathering. So they gather around the bar, they gather in the living room, and I think that's been important to the show, to be able to show the love between these three guys.
You know?
We used to have a penis sculpture, but the network made us kill it. What are you gonna do? These are the sacrifices you have to make in comedy.
All we have left is the big gay knob.
This is Peter Gurski.
And this is Greg Grande, our production designer.
Set decorator. We thought we'd show you a little bit of our little hidden treasures, some of the cool little elements that you find at a vintage store in Palm Springs.
These are actually CB2 sconces. So we've been also trying to mix the current and the mid-century and keep it all sort of in the same styles.
And when we talk about architecture, right, the simplicity, but then the organicness of the lighting and some of what we used. Obviously the architecture is simple, but what Peter brings is some of the fun to the game. We do have a little Easter egg upstage in our dining room, a little sculpture up here that was also on Will and Grace, Max and David's first show, that was done by Max's mother-in-law.
Susan Hyman.
You're too poor for New York. You hate Atlanta.
I like Atlanta.
You hate it. Why don't you know this? You'll both move in with me.
Palm Springs, somewhere along the line, became a haven for, gay men retirees. We knew we wanted to do a show about this subject. Guys who were really, really good friends their entire lives, who decided, in the absence of children and families, let's be each other's chosen family. They're modern, but they're an old kind of modern, The aesthetic seemed to match the theme.
We always knew that Palm Springs would be it because we're fans of this architecture. In the script, it was referred to as a white on white Dinah Shore extravaganza. I was very clear that I wanted this place to be old Hollywood, chic terrazzo floors, this Billy Haynes, low furniture. This is the direction that we ended up going in.
Obviously, Linda Lavin has a nice little tribute to her.
That was painted by her husband, Steve Bakunis. We added that early on.
Yes.
When Linda was still with us.
And now it's kind of a special little moment for her.
There's some singing done back here.
Yes, the late Linda Lavin sang a song back here. There was an episode that deals with her character's death, and then we find the last song that she was playing, the Vera Lynn number, We'll Meet Again, and we sing a little bit of that.
I dreamed a dream one day, and now that dream is here beside me.
So the backdrop was picked on the pilot. Glenda picked that. Because pilots happen so quick, it's always a difficult process to make it perfect for a show like this that eventually got picked up. You talk to your DP and you talk to the gaffer and you say, look, let's try to make this as believable as we can. What can we do? There's a pool back there. We want it to look morning, evening, dusk. There's furniture in the patio. There's greens in the patio. So before you look at the backdrop, your eye automatically is deceived because you see some of the furniture elements, some of the lighting that kind of create that imagery from the camera aisle, if you will, looking out into these large picture windows.
After you.
This is where I usually sit and have my coffee and, witty repartee.
The set decoration, it's always amazing. We always have
The fruits are always real and fresh.
vegetables, pastry.
The shenanigans that go over with the drawers being
Oh,
pulled
yes.
out and all of
Yes.
the...
We have little bits sometimes. There was a time where you were looking through a ton of Tupperware down here, and they would feed it through a tube on the other side of the wall while he was digging through that.
The great thing about the kitchen is that it has a nod to actually my grandmother had that Frigidaire flare oven in there. The old O'Keefe and Merritt flare built in.
We actually found that another set decorator we know, Amy Feldman, had just bought a house and was remodeling and had this real beauty of a stove that's so typical of the mid-century design where it has the pull-out burners. This beautiful Sub-Zero refrigerator, but it's actually plugged in and working because props needs to keep food fresh for the actors to actually, consume during the scene. And then Greg and I like to have a very organic set, so we love having a real alive set, so we do a lot of fresh fruit and fresh vegetables. I mean, in my mind, I make up stories every week about what they're making.
And some of the collectibles.
But I actually went out to Palm Springs and found a great little shop called Reside. They also have this great artist where she took vintage plates and wrote irreverent sayings, but one of them says, eat shit. So I have to hide it back there. We like to mix it up. So this is from the new CB2 collection. Some of it's vintage from the prop house.
You don't work for CB2, do you?
No, but I, could you send a check? I don't know.
This is a den.
I love this room because it is cozy. You feel like you're in some sort of cocoon. It's lovely in here. And everything informs your physicality. I mean, the way I'm sitting right now is the way that I would sit. I'm in this wonderful club chair that swivels, and I got some nuts here. I mean, it's pretty damn
Easy now.
It's pretty damn fabulous. You immediately can just go into your character being supported by the environment in which you live.
It can do so much work for you if it's done well. You can understand so much about a character and who they are by the place in which they live. If you have a really great production designer like we do, I feel like you have a really established sense of who these men are and what their lives are like.
And this is Linda's little desk and office area.
A lot has gone down in this room. A lot has gone down emotionally.
And there are little flourishes too in the decor that speak not only to kind of this sort of whimsical nature of a lot of the decor in Palm Springs that I've experienced, but tonally I think they also lend themselves to comedy. Like even that lampshade there, there are little aspects
whimsical,
of
yeah.
colors and prints that sort of feed a comedic tone. This Gordian knot is symbolic of the writing process over the course of the week. What we have to untangle from day one of an episode to when we do it in front of 500 strangers.
Exactly.
And these are our cards when we play gay poker.
You don't have to wear your readers when you play with those.
It takes days to get through a game.
A straight, I win.
Not at this table. In this house, a straight is the worst hand you can get.
This is a fun room that kind of creates the moments at the end of the show that give it a little more intimacy. These two pieces here were found at the vintage store in Palm Springs Reside. Some of the artwork that you see on the wall, again, local artists that Peter found.
There's a couple of Easter eggs, one over here. This was sort of Linda Lavin's, her character's desk. But in her real life, on her desk, she always had a little cup full of reader glasses. So we kind of recreated that here sort of as an homage to her. And then over here, Bunny owns a lingerie company. So we created lingerie awards. We love to tell a backstory.
behind me is our home base set. That's usually the living room, kitchen, their house. Swing sets are sets that come and go each week, each episode. So in this particular episode, we have Sybil's bedroom. Every episode has 2 or 3 swing sets in it, usually. And that's our process, to get those built, make it look believable. You know, you gotta put windows in there, you gotta put wallpaper up, paint it, light switches, sconces, dress it, flooring, carpet. We've had a few, the country club. Last week was a pickleball court.
Oh, sorry. Let's take it from the top. Welcome to the Grotto.
In the grotto.
There you go.
In the Grotto. Now listen, whilst we're in the hot tub, is that to simulate that we're actually, you know, in our birthday suits?
Yeah, we're bottomless. Yeah.
Yes.
The temperature in there does vary. Sometimes it's a little chillier than others. A couple nights ago, we got it just right, though.
No, it's perfect.
Felt really good.
But I mean, it's so technically wonderful. I mean, they build these things and, I mean, there's a hot tub here.
They keep the water level right here because they don't want to see nips.
Nips aren't funny.
Nips are funny.
I mean, I think my nips are funny.
Nips are definitely funny.
So the process of the jacuzzi started with looking and doing some research for just buying a real hot tub and building it within. But the complicated things about hot tubs is they all have these lounge seats and, you know, that's not comfortable for the actors once we're in filming mode. So we ended up building it, but that's the process that happens in a multi-camera show. I had to kind of encompass this into a corner of the backyard, which is why we used the rockscape and the plant life and some of what would make it look as believable as possible. So we talk a little bit about greens. Obviously the succulents are important because they last in the temperatures out there.
Lighting is really important. I just recall seeing on a lot of the houses some really elaborate mid-century lighting fixture that was very sculptural, but I couldn't find anything. So we found this singular one right here, combine 5 of them together. You've got this great glow and this sculptural piece and something that's one of a kind.
And now he sells it on CB2. It's called the Peter Gurski collection.
Yeah.
If you look around, it's not just about a light here or there, it's layering and how he layers this lighting and how he textures the walls. A lot of people don't understand is that I can design a great box, if you will, and some color with it. Peter can bring in the furniture and the elements. But if it's not lit right, and you don't get texture and you don't get depth, the beauty of this show is everybody's kind of on their game. It becomes a family that everyone can rely on each other and trust each other. And it's nice in this atmosphere to have the opportunity to be able to do that.
The common spaces feel lived in. The kitchen feels like a kitchen where you would spend a lot of time. The den is cozy.
But it's specific, this set. There's no part of it that's generic. The art that's on the wall, Herb Ritz's photograph of Fred with Tires is an iconic photograph taken by a gay photographer, a very important piece of art. But at the same time, the B on that wall is absolutely a nod to Mary Tyler Moore and the M that was on the wall in her apartment. And it's funny, there will be little gay kids that will notice things about this show that I've already enjoyed. You know, watching Linda Lavin, you know, float in and out of this room in a poochy nightgown and blouse is just fantastic. You know, it's fun. It's, you know, it's aspirational in a way.
We can show you where we enter from oftentimes, where we're just waiting in the wings while the audience is filing, and we're usually right back here. And we wait back here nervously, and we all hold each other's hands and
say, why
are we doing this? Why have we chosen this as a
why
profession?
do we do this? Been doing this for 50 years, and this is one of the happiest experiences I've ever had, and it makes it really special. And that sort of, you want to spread that, especially at this time of my life. It's about gratitude and having good work to do and doing it well and enjoying yourself and still having fun.
And I remember Linda saying to me, it's like doing restoration comedy. Yes. And I think that's the most accurate description of this medium. You're playing the truth, you're finding the truth, but there is this dance you're doing with an audience at the same time.
I hope it turns America gay, is really what I hope this show does. When the world watches this show, hopefully when they turn the TV off, they're gay.
Mm-hmm.
Bye. Thanks for coming to Casa Schneiderman. It was a pleasure. Come again.
Bye.
Not too soon.
Bye, AD.
Bye.